The morning felt normal. A little cold, maybe. London skies always looked tired, like me. But it was my birthday. 28. I wore my favorite shirt, even sprayed the cologne Chloe liked. As I stepped into the office, I saw balloons tied too. Sarah's desk, not mine. "Morning, Ethan," she said, typing furiously. I smiled. "Morning. Do you know if anyone?" She shook her head. "Ask Liam. He's been acting weird all morning." "Weird." "Liam." I walked over to his cubicle. He had his headphones in, humming, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. "Yo, birthday boy," he shouted when he saw me. "Surprised you made it on time? Figured you'd take the day off." "Nah," I said. "Thought someone might bring cake." He laughed too loud. "Well, don't hold your breath." Weird. 10 minutes later, Mr. Bennett's assistant called me in. I straightened my shirt, ran a hand through my hair. Maybe this was the promotion meeting. I stepped in. "Ethan," Mr. Bennett said, not looking up from his laptop. "Sit down," I sat. My palms were damp. "I'll be quick," he said. "We're letting you go." I blinked. "Sorry, what?" He closed the laptop. "Budget cuts. Tough quarter. Nothing personal." "Wait, what?" "I just closed the Roseman deal last week." "I know," he said, rubbing his temple. "This wasn't easy. You're not the only one. We had to make choices." My heart pounded. "And Liam?" He looked me in the eyes, cold. "Liam's staying. He's essential right now." "Essential," I echoed. "He botched the Perkins project 3 months ago." "Ethan," he sighed. "This is final. HR has your package ready. You have until 3 p.m. to clear your desk." I stood, fists clenched. "You could have at least waited a day. It's my birthday." He blinked. "Oh, right, sorry." Out. Walked out without a word. Liam stood by the printer, sipping coffee. He saw me and raised an eyebrow. "That bad, huh? You knew?" I asked. He shrugged. "Rumors. You got the position, didn't you?" "Look, man," he said, dropping his voice. "I didn't ask for it, but you didn't say no either." He didn't answer. Just looked at the floor, then back at me. "It's not personal, no," I said. "It never is." I packed my things in silence. A few people avoided eye contact. One or two looked like they wanted to say something, but didn't help me pack. At the exit, I turned one. Last time, no one waved. Outside the sky was as gray as I felt. My phone buzzed. "Ma'am, happy birthday, darling. Hope you're having cake at work. Love you." I stared at the message, fingers numb. I typed back, "Thanks, ma'am. Love you too. No need to." Tell her? Not yet. I walked all the way home. No bus. Just the sound of cars and cold wind against my face. When I got inside, Chloe wasn't there. I dropped my box on the floor, sat on the couch. 1 hour passed, then 2. I called, no answer. I called again, nothing. I texted, "Hey, can we talk?" Rough day, seen. No reply. I waited until 9 p.m., then lit a candle on a cupcake I bought the night before. "Happy birthday to me," I muttered. The flame flickered. I stared at it, willing it to mean something. At midnight, my phone finally buzzed. "Chloe, we need to talk." I stared at the screen. Something broke inside me. Asterisk, I set the cake on the table. Just a cheap one from the corner store. Chocolate frosting, no writing. Lit a single candle. Then I waited. The clock ticked louder than usual. 7:12 p.m. I checked my phone. Nothing. I called Chloe, straight to voicemail. I tried again.
I
Laughed under my breath. Of course. I stared at the flickering candle. Maybe she's planning something. Maybe she's just late. I sat on the couch and scrolled through old pictures. Chloe laughing at the beach. Chloe holding my arm. Chloe looking straight into the camera like she knew something I did. Teen single quotes. I sent her a message. "Hey, just wanted to see you tonight. No pressure, nothing, 9:04. P.M. I texted Liam. You knew, didn't you?" No reply. I tossed the phone aside and stared at the candle. "Still burning. Might as well blow it out," I muttered. But I didn't. I waited. By 10:30, the wax had pooled. I relit it with a match. At 11:40, I spoke to no one. If she walks through that door now, I'll forgive her. Midnight struck. The phone buzzed. I grabbed it. Chloe, we need to talk. That was it. Not happy birthday, not I'm sorry, just for dead words. I didn't reply. I didn't sleep either. The sun came up. Eyes burned. Stared at the message again. 9 a.m., the door opened. She stepped in like nothing was wrong. Hey, she said quietly. I didn't speak. She looked at the untouched cake. You waited? I nodded. She sat down on the edge of the couch. I didn't know how to say it. My throat felt tight. Say what? She took a breath. I've been seeing Liam. The words hit like glass shattering in slow motion. What? I didn't plan it. Just the planned it? I stood. You were with me yesterday. I know. Things got confusing. No, Chloe, I said, voice shaking. Cheating isn't confusing. It's a choice. He understood me, she said. I laughed bitterly. Now, did he tell you? He stole my promotion too? She looked down. That wasn't my business. No, I snapped, but I was. I didn't mean to hurt you. He did. She stood. I came to be honest. No, I said. I came because Liam probably didn't pick up either. She flinched. I loved you, I said, my voice breaking. I know, she whispered. And that's what made it hard. Pointed at the door. Go, Ethan, go. She turned and left without another word. I stared at the door after it shut. The candle had gone out. Asterisk, I didn't take my coat. Didn't take my phone. Just walked. The streets were mostly empty. A cold wind cut through my shirt, but I didn't feel it. My legs moved on their own. Her voice kept echoing. I've been seeing Liam. I kicked a beer can off the curb. Clattered against a wall. A guy passed me, mumbling something. I didn't respond. I kept walking. No direction. Just away. Away from her. From him. From who I used to be. The rain started slow, then got heavier. I didn't care. My shoes were soaked. My shoulders ached. I kept walking at some point. I noticed lights, dim yellow ones, flickering from an old bar tucked between two closed shops. I pushed the door open. Warmth hit me like a memory I didn't deserve. The place was mostly empty. One guy slumped in the back. A TV hummed with static above the bar. Whoa, said a girl behind the counter. You look like a drowned ghost. I looked at her. Blonde hair tied back, nose ring, hoodie over a band tee, coffee, she offered. A bar? She shrugged. It's instant, but it's hot. I nodded. She poured it, slid it over. Free, you look like hell. Thanks, I muttered, wrapping my hands around the cup. Bad night, she asked. I took a sip. Birthday. Yikes. I got fired. Double yikes. And dumped. Triple, she said, wincing. Someone up there really hates you? I let out something between a laugh and a sigh. I feels that. Way. She leaned on the counter. Want to talk about it? I hesitated. You always offer therapy with your coffee. Only to the ones who don't drink. I looked around. Place seems dead. Dead place for dead moods, she said. I'm Rachel, by the way, Ethan. She smiled. So, Ethan, what happened? I stared into the cup. I loved someone. Gave her everything. She gave herself to my best friend. Rachel whistled low. That's brutal. She told me last night. It's like it was a casual confession. What'd you say? I told her to leave. Good, she said. Proud of you. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty. She nodded. Slowly. That's the part people forget. Saying the right thing doesn't always feel good. I looked up. You ever been betrayed? She paused. Yeah, different kind. Still sucked. I didn't push. Her eyes said enough. You walked here. She asked. Hours. I don't even know where I am. East London, near Dalston. I started in South Bank. Her eyes widened. Damn, you really walked. I needed to. She poured me another cup. Here, on the house again. We sat in silence for a while. Then I said, "You know what hurts the most? I thought I was enough. For her, for work, for everything. Turns out I was just easy to replace." She leaned in. "No one real replaces someone that fast." "I was blind, no," she said. "You were honest. That's not the same." I stared at her. She didn't flinch. She didn't try to fix me. She just saw me. And somehow, that was enough. "You remember that time in year 9? I asked aloud, though no one was there. "When you pushed me into the river, and then jumped in just so you could say we both got soaked?" I stared at the old photo in my hand. Us, 14. Mud on. Our faces. Laughing like idiots. That was Liam. My brother in everything but blood. I leaned back on the couch, still clutching the photo. "Bet you don't remember, do you?" I whispered. Liam always had to win. Even back then. "Why'd you tell the teacher it was my fault?" I mumbled. That stupid smirk he wore when I got detention, it haunted me even then. He was just being Liam, I'd told myself. I let it slide. I always did. He was charming, smart, always ahead of the curve. I didn't care. I was just happy to have a best friend. At 17, we made that pact in his garage, sitting on the floor, half drunk off stolen beers. 10 years from now, he said, "We'll be running our own company. You'll be the brain." I laughed. "I'll do the boring bits." He smirked. "Nah, you'll be the heart. You always were." I believed him. God, I believed every damn word. I called him. That morning after I got fired, I didn't know yet. I thought he'd be angry with me. I thought he'd stand by me. "Hey," I said, voice still shaky. "I need to talk. What's up?" He asked too casually. "They let me go." Silence. Then, "That's rough, man. That's all you've got." "I didn't expect it, okay? Did you get the position?" He didn't answer right away, Liam. "Yeah," he said finally. "I did." My chest sank. "You knew, didn't you?" He sighed. "Look, I didn't ask for it, but you took it." What was I supposed to do? Say no? Yes? I shouted. "You were supposed to say something. You always take this stuff so personally. Because it is personal." "No, Ethan," he snapped. "It's business. Grow up." I swallowed hard. "Were you sleeping with Chloe too? Or was that just a bonus?" Silence again. "Liam," I growled. "Tell me." "She came to me," he muttered. "I didn't chase her." "You're unbelievable." "She." "I said you were distant. I was working to support us." He laughed bitterly. "Always playing the martyr. That's your problem." "No," I hissed. "My problem was trusting you." I didn't deny it, didn't apologize. Nothing, you. "Know what the worst part is?" I said quietly. "Your smile. That smug little smile like you're always 10 steps ahead." "I am," he said, cold, flat. That broke something in me. I stepped outside, phone still in hand. Wind howled around me, but I didn't care. "You used to be my best friend, and you used to be useful." My jaw clenched. "Say that again?" "Hear me," he said. "You were the guy people liked, made them feel safe. But safe doesn't win. I win." I said nothing. "You were always too soft," he added. I ended the call, stood there in the dark, fists shaking, rain soaking into my skin. I finally saw him not. The friend, not the brother, not the boy I grew up with. Just Liam. Selfish, ruthless, hollow. The kind of person who'd climb over anyone to reach the top. Even me. Asterisk hi, ma'am. "Ethan, sweetheart, I've been worried sick. You've barely called. I've just been busy. I thought you lost your job. Picked up something new. Part-time, nothing serious. Is everything really okay?" I said, forcing a smile she couldn't see. "I'm doing fine." I hung up and stared at the ceiling. Lie number 1. Later, I stopped by the bar. Rachel raised an eyebrow when she saw me. "You again?" "I like the coffee," I muttered. Liar. No one likes the coffee. I cracked a weak smile. "I'm over her. Which her, Chloe?" She leaned on the counter. "You sure about that?" "Absolutely," I lied. She didn't push. "Started working again," I added. "Where?" "Bookstore down on Claremont Street." Whistled. That dusty old place. I thought it was abandoned. Still alive. Barely. As she slid. "Me a cup, you happy?" "I'm getting there." I wasn't. The bookstore was quiet, dimly lit, and always smelled like forgotten paper. But no one asked questions. I shelved books, rang up the few customers, and disappeared into silence. Mr. Reynolds. The owner was old, nearly deaf, and spoke only when needed. "You're quiet," he said once, just focused. Nodded like that, made sense, and went back. To reading day after day, I pretended. Morning, he'd say morning, good weekend. Yeah, restful. I shelved books like I was stacking bricks over my own emotions at night. I'd walk home and open my notes app, type a sentence, then delete it. I kept telling myself I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about Chloe. I didn't care about Liam. I didn't care about the job I lost or the person I used to be. But every time the bell above the bookstore door rang, I hoped it was. Her, it never was. One night, Rachel caught me off guard. "You ever read anything in that bookstore of yours sometimes? It's fiction or self-help?" "Mostly fiction," I said. "Less depressing." "Depends on the author." I shrugged. "I like silence more than stories lately." She looked at me for a long second. "You look tired." "I'm fine." That's what people say when they're not. "Fine," I repeated. She didn't believe me, but she didn't argue. Back at the store, I started leaving my phone in my bag. I didn't want to check for messages that weren't coming. I drank cheap instant coffee, ate cold sandwiches, folded receipts, lied to my reflection every morning. "You're okay?" I'd whisper. And every day it got a little less false. Asterisk, dear. "Chloe, you looked me in the eyes and said you didn't plan it, but you did. You chose him. Again and again. I keep replaying your words, your silence, your excuses. I wonder if you ever meant anything you said. I wonder if you even hesitated. But I'll never send this. You'd just say sorry again, like that means anything. Dear Liam, you stabbed me with a handshake and smiled while doing it. You were supposed to be my brother. I defended you. I trusted you. I made excuses for your ego and your games. Deep down, I always knew you needed to win, even if it meant breaking me. You won, Liam, but you lost something too. You just don't know it yet. Dear me, you let people walk over you because you wanted peace. You stayed quiet, thinking love would fix itself. Gave too many second chances. But maybe now it's time you learn to fight back. Maybe it's time you stopped apologizing for being loyal. I saved the drafts and closed my laptop. My hands were shaking, but lighter somehow. I didn't need to send them. I just needed to say it. That night, I stood outside a building that smelled like dust and anxiety. I walked inside. Ethan Walker. Soft voice called. "That's me. First therapy session." I didn't tell anyone. I sat on the couch. Tried not to look at the clock. The therapist smiled.
What brings you here, people?"
I muttered. Broke me. "Want to talk about it?"
"No," I said, "but I probably should. Week after week."
One truth at a time. I never said their names. But I spoke of the lies, the weight, the nights I couldn't sleep. Each session, the silence inside me cracked a little. One night at the bar, Rachel poured my usual. "You look different," she said. Different. How? Less ghosts? More real. I laughed softly. "I've been writing anything good?" "No, just letters I won't send." "Sounds healthy. I've been talking to someone too." She raised a brow. "A girl? A therapist?" She didn't blink, just nodded. "Good. You're not going to ask what about?" "Nope, why not?" "Because if you wanted to tell me, you would have already." I stared at her. "Thank you. For what?" "For not fixing me." She smiled. "Wasn't my job." I went home that night and opened the letters again. I didn't delete them. I didn't rewrite them. I just read them, man, for the first time. I didn't cry. The bell above the bookstore door rang, soft and familiar. I looked up, pan froze. Chloe, she stood there. Hair undone, eyes tired, lips pressed tight like she was holding back every excuse she'd practiced. "Hi," she said. "I didn't move, you look different." I nodded. That tends to happen. She stepped closer, her voice quieter. Can we talk? I'm working. She glanced around. Doesn't look too busy. It's not so, can we? I didn't answer, just closed the book I was shelving and walked to the counter. She followed. I didn't know where else to go, she said. I raised a brow. Not his place? She winced. He left weeks ago. Of course he did. He said it was a mistake, that I was never worth it. Silence. I guess I had to lose everything to see what I had. You didn't lose me, I said calmly. You threw me away. Her eyes welled up. I know. I didn't say anything. I think about it every night, she whispered. How I messed up. You didn't mess up, Chloe. You made a choice. I was confused. No, I said. You were selfish. Her lips trembled. I miss you. You miss who I used to be. She looked down. You're right, I leaned on the counter. Why are you really here? I thought maybe we could talk. This is talking. She shook her head. I mean, try again. Start over? No. She blinked. Just like that. Just like that. But I don't, I said. Don't try to rewrite the past. I'm sorry. I'm sure you are. Don't you feel anything? She asked. I looked at her, really looked. Her face wasn't glowing like it used to. Her voice wasn't magical. She wasn't some goddess I couldn't live without. She was just Chloe. I used to, I said, but not anymore. Tears slid down her cheek. I don't know what I expected. I do. You expected me to still be waiting? Hoped, she whispered. I nodded. You were always good at hoping someone else would fix your mistakes. She stepped back. You've changed. I had to. She turned to leave, then hesitated. If I ever you won't, I said. She paused again. Goodbye, Ethan. I watched her walk out. The bell rang again as the door shut behind. Her Rachel appeared from the back, drying a mug. That hurt, she asked. Yeah, she looks worse than her Instagram. I smirked. Right? Life catches up eventually. You okay? I think I am. Want coffee? Always. She poured. I sipped. She wanted to talk, I said. And I let her. Rachel leaned on the counter. You didn't yell? Didn't cry? No, that's scarier. I smiled. I didn't need revenge. Letting go, she said, is a kind of revenge. I looked at the door. Then I looked. Away? Asterisk? Did you hear about Liam? Rachel asked, sliding a newspaper across the counter. I didn't look up from the shelf. What now? Got fired? I blinked. Fired. For stealing credit on someone else's work? I paused. Seriously? Front page of their internal newsletter? Someone leaked it? I took the paper. There he was, Liam Daniels. Standing outside a glass office, face blurred but posture familiar. The headline screamed, Top exec caught in ethics scandal. I handed it back. Guess snakes eventually get stepped on. Rachel raised an eyebrow. You okay? Yeah, she studied me. You're not smiling. Should I be? She shrugged. You're allowed to feel satisfied. I don't, I said. I feel nothing. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. I declined. 2 seconds later, voice message. Rachel glanced over. I'm probably going to play it. I stared at the screen. Not. I put it on speaker. His voice came through, slurred and dragging. Ethan, bro, man, I don't even know why I'm calling you. Maybe because I got no one else. You were always better than me, man. Smarter, more loyal. You had heart. Silence. I hated that. I hated how easy it was for people to like you. Chloe, she never looked at me like that when you were around. I took her because I could, but I think she always wanted you more. Pause. A sniffle. I'm drunk. Who cares? You probably hate me, you should. I'd hate me. Click message ended. Rachel was quiet for a second. Wow, I put the phone face down on the counter. No response? She asked. No, not even a screw you. He's already screwed. Rachel gave a small smirk. Cold. Cold, calm, I corrected. She nodded. You're different. You're not angry? No, I said. Not anymore. We stood in silence. Then I asked, why do you think he called me? Because guilt always needs an audience. I exhaled slowly, said I was better than him. You were. Didn't I see it before? Because you didn't want to, she said. I leaned back against the counter. You think he meant it? Drunk or not, truth leaks out eventually. I picked up my phone again, deleted the message. Rachel watched. That's it? That's it? She leaned in. No victory dance? I smiled. Silence is my dance. She grinned. That's so dramatic. I poured myself coffee. Tastes. Better than revenge. She raised her mug. To peace. To peace. Asterisk. I can't believe how quiet the city gets at this hour, I said. Leaning back against the brick wall behind the bar, Rachel lit a cigarette. It's the hour when truth shows up. No distractions. I smirked. You always talk like a poet after midnight. She exhaled slowly. You always act like you're okay. Maybe I am. Are you? She turned her head, eyes catching the streetlight. I shrugged. I don't know. But I'm not angry anymore. She smiled faintly. That's something. Sat in silence, the kind that didn't need fixing. I looked up. The moon hung low, pale and soft, like it didn't need to prove anything. You've changed, she said suddenly. Yeah, you're quieter. Not broken, just different. Had to die before I could live, I said, without thinking. Rachel didn't flinch. That's heavy, it's true. She took another drag, watching the smoke curl up like it knew where it was going. Most people don't survive themselves. You did? Barely? I said. Some nights I thought I wouldn't. I know, you knew. She tapped ash off her cigarette. I saw it in your eyes. That first night at the bar, you looked like someone who'd lost everything. I had, but you kept showing up. I chuckled. To your terrible coffee? You liked it? Still terrible. Shh. She bumped her shoulder against mine. You needed something to hate. Yeah, you made it easy. I'm generous that way. Another quiet beat passed. I started therapy, you know, I said. I know you knew. She nodded. You started smiling a little. That obvious? I watch people, and I write letters I'll never send. She looked over to her, to Liam, to myself. Did it help? I paused. It helped me admit I didn't want them back, just wanted them gone. Now they're gone. Rachel flicked the finished cigarette into the street. What do you want now? I thought about it. Peace. That's not a thing you find. It's a thing you choose. I'm trying. You're doing better than you think. I looked at her again, the way her hair caught the breeze, the way she didn't press or pry. Just sat. Just stayed. You never tried to save me, I said. That's not my job. No, but you stayed. She looked at me. Sometimes staying matters more than saving. Thanks for that. She stood and stretched. I'm no hero, Ethan. I've got my own mess, I know. But you've got that look now. Look, the one people get when they've stopped bleeding. I laughed softly. You're still a poet, she smiled. You're still pretending you hate my coffee. We walked back toward the door, the night folding quietly behind us. As she reached for the handle, she paused. You ever think about starting over? She asked. I nodded. Every day. She didn't say anything else, just opened the door, and I followed her inside. I stared at the letter for a long time. The ink had dried, but my hands still trembled when I touched the paper. Dear me, I read aloud, my voice barely a whisper. I forgive you for not knowing better. You grew. I took a deep breath. You didn't have the tools. You didn't have the strength. But you tried, and that matters more than they ever did. I paused, the silence in my room pressing in gently. You let them walk all over you, yes? But you stood back up, every single time. I blinked back something sharp in my eyes. You cared too much. You stayed too long. You trusted the wrong people. That wasn't weakness. It was your heart learning how to beat. I folded the letter gently, then unfolded it again. I wasn't done. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You only need this. Peace. And you've earned it. Signed it. Dash Ethan. And this time I mailed it. To myself, Rachel saw the frame later that night hanging above my desk. She didn't say anything, just ran her fingers over the glass. You did it? She said. Yeah, I nodded. I think I finally did. She smiled. How does it feel? Like I'm breathing, without a weight on my chest. It's called living. I laughed. Didn't recognize it at first. You're wearing it well? We sat on the floor for a while. No drinks, no noise. No, just two people who didn't need to fill the silence anymore. I've got a job interview tomorrow, I told her. Her eyebrows lifted. You didn't tell me that? I wasn't sure I'd go, and now I'm ready. Rachel leaned her head back against the wall. You look different. Not like happy different, just real. I'm not chasing anything anymore. No ghosts, no Chloe, no Liam, no past. That's real progress. I owe some of it to you. She smiled again, soft and quick. Nah. You just needed someone to sit still with you until you stood back up. Well, I grinned. You're really good at sitting. I practice a lot. I looked around my tiny apartment. Same furniture, same old coffee table, but it didn't feel like a cage anymore. It's weird, I said. I used to think I'd feel powerful if I got revenge, and now feel stronger for letting go. Rachel nodded. That's the trick. The power's in the release. I didn't get that before. You do now. The next morning, I walked to the interview with my shoulders back. No nerves, just forward. The receptionist smiled. You're early. I'm ready, I replied. When I sat across from the hiring manager, I didn't fumble. I didn't try to be someone I wasn't. I like your energy, she said. I used to be a mess, I replied. Now I'm just focused. She laughed. Honesty is rare, so is peace. I left the office and stepped into the sunlight. The warmth hit my face. I didn't rush home. I just walked, slow and easy, letting the world unfold without forcing anything. My phone buzzed. Rachel. Well, went well. I think I got it. Rachel. Told you. You're not a ghost anymore. I smiled. I passed by a bookstore and paused. Not the one I worked at. A different one, but familiar. Inside, someone laughed. Sound I didn't recognize and didn't need to. I didn't go in. Instead, I walked past the alley where I first saw Chloe crying months ago. She wasn't there now. That chapter was gone. I touched the folded edge of the letter in my jacket pocket. A copy, just to remind me. You grew. I whispered to myself. I turned the corner. The sky stretched wide above me, and I walked on. Asterisk.